All right, here we are in the jumper's course. Yep, little broken start line there. So, yeah, I think only the truly, independent weaves are going to be able to get this when you're that far behind. The dog comes out, the dog's looking for you. Not only is your dog fast, they're big with a big stride. Let me see if I can hear when the cue comes, like to have a prayer of doing this, even if your dog has good independent weaves, you would need to be saying weave, like I would probably be saying it now. And I'd be saying weave, 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 weave. So when they came out, they were looking for those weave poles. I can't hear any commands, so I can't tell, but I'm doubting that you gave your dog the information when they needed it. So it really takes, your dog came out like this, right? So unless your dog was already looking for the weave poles, so that, really at this point, they might even be able to see the weave poles. So if your dog was looking for it, I think your dog could make this. As soon as your dog exits like this, you can see that your dog is going to have to almost do a hairpin turn to make these weave poles. So I don't think that your dog had a chance there. And I do think that it largely comes down to the broken start line. Although I don't know what your plan would have been. I'm gonna pause and look at your notes there. So I think it depends on what your original plan was. I think it's really hard to get that particular weave pole entry unless you somehow cross maybe between these two jumps, like come in here for a blind or something, or a front, and then drive to the tunnel and be on the inside. And so I'm not sure if that would have been part of your plan anyway. That is a very, very difficult weave pole entry. Beautiful blind cross of the weaves. If we look back at the timing, here you are starting to blind, say about 3 poles from the end. Definitely by the last pole, you're looking over the correct shoulder, continuing to drive. Very nicely done. And signaling this nice tight turn. That's beautiful. I think at this height with this dog, this is a beautiful turn. So here you end up doing a little bit of what I call rubber band handling. Your dog is getting further and further away from you, and you're kind of leaning in this direction more and more to try to create these turns. But it puts you further and further lateral, which makes your rear crosses a little bit more difficult. You end up having to really be like this as your dog is doing like this. It's hard to tell because of no bar what your dog would have done there with the bar. Okay, yeah, no wing or anything, so a little bit difficult there. But here, coming out of the tunnel, so first of all, I think at this moment, you can consider your dog committed to that tunnel, and I would turn and run and try to get as close as I could to this jump to show that strong deceleration cue. Okay. Your cameraman can barely keep you in view here. So here I see a nice deceleration at the triple. Wow, that is a really tight turn to expect from these dogs after a triple by the judge. So I got to say, I find that a little suspect as far as course design is concerned, because you have 2 extending obstacles, double, triple, and they have to take the triple in extension, and then you have a 90-degree turn, and your dog doesn't even get to put in one stride there. So I personally think this is not a great design, but your dog does it really well, and so do you. Putting the in, you've got to be confident giving deceleration cues at the triple. can't really see how your dog responded to it. And I will note that you are still continuing to move in this direction. So even though you are giving deceleration cues, I would say that it's a little bit conflicting. You're clearly decelerating, but you're still moving forward. I think you need to really just stop your motion there. This is a difficult rear. Your dog has gotten ahead of you here, and so you're putting the pressure, but the dog isn't feeling it really until now. And which, if you look at it, at this point, even though you're moving in this direction, you're still on this side of the dog. About here's the moment where you get behind your dog, and that's the moment that your dog turns and makes that turn. So your dog needed a lot more pressure. And I think part of it is, I think at this point, I would do strong deceleration here. As soon as I saw my dog lift here, I would take off in this direction. You might even be able to make a blind cross there. You don't need to watch your dog take this or watch your dog turn, because you running in this direction will help get the dog in this direction. I do see this off course though, so I think that could potentially be an issue. But I think that this is a place where if you're in this area managing this, you have to be more concerned about this jump, because your position could indicate this jump. If you go from here and take off running in this direction so that as your dog is taking this jump, you're somewhere over here, it actually makes them less likely to consider this jump, and as they race to come catch up to you.